Chapter 8. Can't sleep. Can't sleep. Try to sleep. Still can't sleep. I'm not going to fight with myself here if my head refuses to quiet down. There must be an unturned stone, a conclusion about the day I haven't reached. Mickey gave me a burner of Have a Nice Life's new album, Death Consciousness. I made him describe it in one word, and he said, illuminating. I put it in my portable and play the first track, which is called A Quick One Before the Eternal Worm Devours Connecticut. The volume is low. The day's clothes lay in ripples on the concrete floor. Miscellaneous bedroom items, distinct in the light of day, are morphed into vague and ominous beings by the monochromatic darkness. Sometimes I have to put my mind on the spot, isolate it. I'll clear my thoughts and then wait to see what arrives. I visualize myself as a theater director sitting in an empty auditorium, watching a vacant stage. I watch the stage, watching the inside of my own head, eager to see who steps out from behind the curtain. Most times, I turn myself inside out. My mind goes blank. I sit there for an indistinguishable amount of time, patiently waiting for the assembly line of cognition to deliver my subconscious. Or maybe it's more sinister. You occupy yourself with the stimulus of an average day, and the mind provides ceaseless commentary, whispering so softly it disguises any tone of voice. You roll your eyes back toward the mind, and it finds itself frozen, timid, nervous, unable to riff with its usual fluency, worried it will be exposed as an inorganic parasite on an otherwise pure physicality, unfamiliar with the perils of being perceived, and too acclimated with the experience of perceiving, pulling levers and pressing buttons in some unlit corner. The body welcomes being seen, confident in its functionality and purpose. Providing a host for the mind, it has no complex of inferiority or uselessness. The mind cannot help but shower in the scalding hot water of self-awareness. Knowing itself as the harbinger of all suffering, it becomes paralyzed by the onlooker's gaze. But wait patiently, and continue to stare without blinking. The mind always breaks to the forces of silent interrogation. It will overcome its shyness and cease its ambient whispering. Instead, the mind will speak clearly, revealing a heavenly voice, revealing powers of visualization and daydream unfamiliar to the average autopilot. Tonight takes longer than usual, and then it begins. I am gifted with a narration of crashing waves against a medieval vessel. My bed now wobbles in the ship's populated bowels. It is night, and we have been sailing for more than a month. My brothers and I were destined for India and expected this voyage to take only a few days. Then again, no one has ever reached the Orient moving westward. We knew the risks when we signed on, but I sense regret has spread amongst the ranks since those hopeful beginnings. As the days turned into weeks, a lingering fear molted among the gallows. Perhaps our leader had fallen victim to some mental degradation, foreshadowed by his alarming grandiosity and inflated self-image. I'm haunted by the words of a shipmate, whispered cautiously to me on the ship's southern deck. I've just been pondering a while, he began. Pondering what? I asked. If the admirable might be mistaken. Mistaken how? About our destination? Mistaken even beyond that. Mistaken that there's a destination at all. Some say the world is a sphere, some say a disk. The truth lies in the mind of the good Lord alone. Perhaps it could be that. Perhaps we are sailing toward an endless mass of restless ocean that continues for eternity. Water and just more water, waves emanating from nowhere. Then what? Admirable won't turn back without finding shore, and with each week that passes, the horizon line seems further away. I can't shake the worry that we're voyaging to nothing, into some lesson constructed by Satan to prey on man's curiosity. Just days ago, Storms of biblical rage consume the skies. Flashes of vitriolic light pierce the sea, while a pitch-black hurricane, some upside-down babble of charcoal oxygen, levitated in our direction. When the eye of the storm arrived, men gripped the beams of the ship's interior and were summoned into an unholy vortex that brought them almost up to heaven before tearing off their limbs in the colorless sky. Those of us who survived had no good reason to. The memory, still fresh in my mind, was clarified by my shipmate's cold interpretation. As I lay in my wobbling quarters, it seems inevitable that we will sail into some black purgatory as punishment for our pride. Then I hear them. Bellows of laughter from the upper deck. Another shipmate is shrieking with joy as he explains that the birds above are land-born, a different breed than the gulls we've seen gliding over the ocean. He concludes that sandy shores are imminent and a fire of celebration animates the vessel. Despite the darkness, the sight of land brings timely sunshine to my darkened spirit. My mind, still narrating in its heavenly voice, now offers a description of palm trees and fruit bushes swaying in the Caribbean wind. We depart the ship and pitch our tents right there on the shore. I appreciate, to an extent previously impossible, the steady grace of solid land. The narration concludes. I'm back. Returned. I've had a vision of another life, and though I rest once again in the pocket of my domestic suburb, I carry that stranger's gratitude in the marrow of my bones. I can feel his love for soil and sand. My head has quieted down, drained of its hyperactivity by taxing visions. Lying in bed, I raise my legs, softly swinging the excess bedsheet which hangs off the mattress under my feet. I like the insulation. I like the warmth it tracks. I like that we live right next to the train tracks, and I can feel my entire room vibrating as they thunder past. There might be 1,000 horses racing through the alleyway, lit dimly by porcelain moonlight. Crickets signal their fertility outside my bedroom's south side wall. The light background music, the train, the wind through the trees, insects, the AC. Everything coheres into a symphony of calming white noise.